Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream. Here we are, as we usually find ourselves, or at least I find myself, doing a live stream. It's Wednesday. We got a couple people in the chat already. Let me go ahead and turn this music down just a little bit. We have FHD TV, Oli, Explore Washington State, Darren, VFX Todd. What's going on, Todd? Jan, Darren, Leo, Victor, Salem, and Gabby E, who is one of our very first sponsors of the channel. So thank you very much, Gabby. For those who don't know, YouTube released this sponsorship feature, and that's what's up. How's everybody doing? I'm excited for today because we're doing a couple different new things. First, we are doing our first live review. So we're going to be going into the other room and playing with a light and doing all kinds of fun stuff. The other thing is that FalconEyes, they didn't sponsor this video, but they did send me the light we're going to be looking at. So thank you to them. I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like on Amazon. So this is the light we're going to be talking about today. It's the Falcon Eyes RX-718 RGB light, 100-watt output, so really bright. And it's a standard LED bicolor light, but it also has that RGB capability. Now I've been using their lights before I even spoke with them, and I've been going back and forth with them with some projects here, but I'm actually being lit right now by one of their lights. Whoops, excuse me, pardon that. Yeah, I'm using the 12T, which is their smaller light, and it's on that page, so the link will be in the description. You guys can check out their lights. They have several different models, different modifiers and things. But I've purchased, I believe, 3 of their lights. We've got this little guy here, a slightly larger one, now this RGB, and then of course they make that huge 24 TDX model. So what I think we'll do now is we'll go ahead and jump into the other room and set up a little multicam setup. The cameras are ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to go ahead and head over there. I apologize for this transition. I meant to get this finished before the live stream, but I ran out of time, so it'll have to do for now. So I'll see you guys over in the studio in one quick second. All right. One quick moment. I forgot to grab my phone just in case you guys need to talk to me. So one second. Live streaming and making a bunch of changes right before you go live. Always fun, don't you think? So you guys can enjoy this shot of the studio out of focus slightly because that's all fun. All right, we're going to focus this GH5S real quick. Boom. And we're going to switch to the A7 III. Okay, do you hear me? Are we all good? Let me settle in here, make sure everything's cool. I think we're good. Let me know if there's any problems on your guys' end. I'm gonna adjust this seat. So here is the light that we'll be talking about, and I've already put it together. I'm gonna quickly go over what comes with the kit. Let me move this. Nice, nice. Okay, we're looking good. We're hopefully sounding good. So this kit comes with a case, which is right here. Nice and hard case. It's a great case. Okay, so here's the light itself. It is an LED matte, so it's similar to the Westcott Flex lights, except it doesn't really hold its form. It more rolls up. So I've got it set up here. It has a softbox that can attach via Velcro, so you can see it all set up. And then it has a couple other things. So it has the diffusion sheet right here. It looks kind of like a ripstop nylon that attaches. And then in front of that, let me just throw that there, we have a grid. So this will allow you to, sorry, there's construction going on next door. This will allow you to really direct the light. So if you're looking at it from this angle here, let me switch to this camera angle. You can obviously see the white diffusion, but if I turn it here, you can essentially keep the light from hitting various directions. Really handy to have, and they're getting a lot more affordable. It used to be so expensive to get a modifier with grid. So now let's go ahead and talk about the controller. So the whole thing, I'll spin it around so you can see the X bracket on the back, which is how it's mounted. We'll switch over here. So you can see we can rotate the light like that. Pretty nice. And this X bracket, unlike their previous lights, folds up. So that was my main complaint with their previous lights is, unlike the Westcott, which gets real small, this mat has to remain, you know, in like a tube configuration. And then the X bracket was rather large, whereas this one folds up, which is awesome. So that's the light itself. We'll spin it back around and we'll look at the controller, which is really where the magic happens on this unit. And of course, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. I'll be looking at those beautiful comments here in a second once we get this thing rolling. So I'm going to go ahead and peel this away again so we can kind of see the LEDs. It looks like kind of LED strips behind a piece of mesh. I'm going to grab the controller. We'll switch to this angle again. Oh, got things tangled up. And here is the controller for the light. So it holds the, or you can have it hold the transformer, which is awesome. I'm going to flip it around here. I've got it plugged in, so I'm just going to go ahead and power it up. You can do V-mount power, or you can use AC wall power. So there it is, powered up. We've got a nice red going on, and this controller works pretty well. RGB is surprisingly difficult to do right when it comes to the controller. I've worked with some lights that were just terrible. So this one is pretty decent. What you have here on the side are a bunch of buttons. And so here's red, I can tap red. On the side there's a knob, which will allow me to dim it. It can kind of slowly dim, or if you press the knob in, you get much faster, you know, changes, if you will. So I'll press it again to go to the slow mode. We'll turn the red all the way down, green, blue, and then of course, if you want to mix them, you can totally do that. You don't have a hue dial, so you do have to mix manually. So if I want it to be kind of purple, I can go blue and then add some red. Now I've got purple. So pretty decent functionality. I'd like to see hue having the ability to just go through the entire color range, but you know, I'm sure there's reasons why that was a restriction. Now, if you keep going down here, we also have color, or CCT for color temperature. So I can set it right now, it's set to, let's go to 55. And then below that, I'll hit dimmer. And now we're in dimmer mode. So this is acting just like a traditional light, which is great. So this isn't exclusively an RGB light. You have full daylight, tungsten, and beyond. I believe this light goes, let's find out, shall we? Let's go back to CCTV. I think it goes to 10,000, right? Yeah, all the way up to a very cool 9,999. So it should look kind of blue on me here. Let me turn the dimming down a little bit. By the way, this is only 7% dimming, so it's a very bright light. Yeah, so this light here is 54, 55. This is now set to 99. We'll go back and we will change it all the way down to as low as it'll go, which should be like 29. All the way down, 2700 Kelvin. Nice, nice warm glow. So this is going to be a little warmer than tungsten. So just making sure we're good in the chat. Awesome. Let me know if something fails horribly. So yeah, great dimming range. And you can also mix this with RGB. And that's where I find RGB to be the most helpful or useful for me. When you think RGB, you might think, oh, just blue or purple or adding a color. But I think it's really nice, and we'll take a look in a second, to hit a backdrop or background with a color temperature that matches your, you know, lighting setup, and then start to pump in just a little bit of color for a really subtle look. And of course, obviously, you can go really dramatic and do crazy, just straight up colors. For music videos, this light would be dynamite. Or fashion, YouTube, obviously, it would be great because you can use it as a key light, and we'll do that as well here in a minute. But you could also, you know, use it for B-roll of a product or something and have some really, really dramatic looks, which is just great. So let's go ahead and real quick, I'm going to push my 120D, which is what I'm using from Aperture in a light dome here. I'm going to push it back, turn it off. We're going to set this up as a key light and see what kind of output, what kind of color temperature. I'm going to make sure it's actually accurate and what the CRI is, and show you guys how you could use this as a key light. So what I'm going to do is just do it live, dang it. So here we go. going to the wide shot. Going to move my 120D. Finally got a lapel set up so I don't have to deal with shotguns. We're just going to move this out of the way. Actually, I'll leave it on for a second while we get things moved here. So I think this could be a perfect all-arounder. Sure, it's a little pricey at $650, but if you guys look into the RGB market, if you will, things are not cheap. You got to put out some coin for decent and high quality RGB lights. There's a lot of garbage ones out there. And for one to be as bright as this one is, that's pretty special. So, little cable management here. Okay. Let's start by going, we'll stick with 55 and we'll pump this puppy up. All right, so we're already getting places here. Let me add the diffusion back, like so. And we'll keep the grid on for now. Something like that. I'm gonna bring the light in. Little trick, I see a lot of YouTubers, gotta get my focus here. I see a lot of YouTubers are the behind the scenes and they have the light way too far away. So what I recommend you do for YouTube, especially for smaller lights, is bring it into the frame. So now it's in the frame. Let me actually move my cart here so I can move it a little in front of me. So bring it into the frame and then just barely move it out. And that's going to ensure you have the light as close to you as possible, which will give you softer light. If you don't do that, you're going to have a harsher source. And for these smaller, this isn't a small light by any means. You know, it's what, 1.5 feet by 2 feet. But with smaller lights and this light, I still want to get it close. And that's going to give me a softer source. So it looks like we're a little overexposed here. I'm just tweaking my exposure there. Would need maybe a little bit of fill, but I think this looks pretty good. And this is with the grid on. So it's 8%. I'm shooting on the A7 III, A7 III. For settings, we're at ISO 320 and f2.8 with a 50th of a shutter. So this is looking pretty fantastic, if you ask me. Cool. Right, so let's go ahead and test the CRI. I'm going to be using a Sekonic C700U, insanely powerful tool. Not something it's pricey, but for testing lights, there's really nothing else like it out there. And that's why I'm using it here in the channel. So we're going to check to see if the color temperature is accurate, and we're also going to see if our CRI is as good as it's supposed to be, which is around 95. Let me just make sure that all the colors are turned off here. Yes, they are. Great. Calibrating. We'll also take off, while that's calibrating, we'll take off the grid here. Pay attention to the background. I'll go ahead and turn my background light off, actually, which is mounted to the ceiling. All right, so the only light on is the Falcon Eyes. I think that looks pretty nice. So pay attention to the background. Again, the grid is kind of keeping that under control. I'll go ahead and remove it. It's obviously brighter because that grid was taking down some of that exposure. Let's dim it down again. Man, now we're at 6% output. All right, we're ready to roll with this guy. Let's go ahead and take a measurement. Make sure there's no other stray light in here. Got to make sure I'm not in calibration mode. Do it again. Okay. So usually I have found when the light is dimmed down, the color, the quality isn't as good. And this is showing on here. We're having a CRI of 92, or a TLCI rather, of 92, which is pretty close to 95. Now, bear with me. I'm going to send this thing all the way to 100%, which is insane. I apologize, but let's check it again. One more time. Is this actually going? Let's see, let's try that. Okay, so it's sticking around 92 TLCI. We're gonna jump in and take a look. Let me dim it down so you guys aren't blinded here. This tool lets me measure colors as well, and it's looking like we're a little low on red. Let me see if I can get that in focus for you guys. So see that red line? I'd like to see that a little higher, but yeah, it's above, what is that, above? Yeah, above 60, so that's good. And LEDs really struggle with red, so a high quality, super nice LED light will have really high on that R9 red. But I still think it looks great. We'll go ahead and go back down to something manageable here. I can't believe 6%. Yeah, 6%. That's the light. So what you could do with this is add more diffusion in front of it, back the light up, and have a lot of flexibility. I mean, that's outrageously bright. So now let's use it as a background light and have some fun with that. We're gonna quickly reset. I'm gonna look at my phone here, see if you guys have any specific questions. Why ISO 320, not 100? I believe it's a limitation of the picture profile I am currently using. Let's see here. This is the joys of having a tiny, tiny studio. I'll go wider for you guys so you can kind of see. Watch me fumble around in here. And I don't think people realize how small this space is. Like I cannot stand up straight in this shooting area because I have sound, you know, dampening on the ceiling. So it gets pretty rough. Okay, so I'm gonna position this on the background. We're gonna drop our stand down. Air cushion stands are always super helpful. Something like that. Okay. I have to keep the light somewhat close to me because the cord is a little short, so you're not going to be able to get the controller super far away unless you buy an extension. Bring our 120D back in. Get this grid out of here. Okay, you can see bits of diffusion. I added some more to this light dome, just to go crazy with the diffusion. Go back to the A7 III. Bring the light in, put it back out a little bit, tilt it. I mean, if anything for lighting, with lighting and sound, get your lights and microphones close. That's a great basic tip, especially when you're using smaller lights. Okay, so we've got our light here. I'm gonna have to bring it in a little closer. Sorry, you guys can see it, but that'll just have to be life for now. Let's go dimmer. We're still at 6%. Let's drop it down a little bit. So that's roughly matching our main shot. Beam angle information is in the description. Let's go crazy with some color, shall we? Let's do some purple. That seems to be a popular thing. So that's mixing in just a little bit of blue, red, and we're still adding some color temperature. You'll notice if I take the color temperature all the way down, the saturation gets insane. So if you're looking for really saturated color, you'll definitely want to turn off the main light and just use the RGB lights. So we can kind of, I just love how you can kind of mix and match here, go more purple than pink. We can take this all the way down. Another one I do a lot is blue and green. Let's start with 0. There's just 2 blue, 2 green, right? So we're 2 blue, 1 green, I guess. So that's pretty fantastic. Now I'm going to drop a white background backdrop behind us, because I think that's where you have a lot of flexibility instead of just using it on a wall, but actually dropping down a, I'm going to use vinyl, but a paper backdrop would do the same thing. Switch to this angle. We'll go ahead and do that real quick. Just checking the phone. Looks pretty good. Looks like I'm a little green on my stream there, so something's going on with the A7 III. Also check out how different the, look at this, GH5S, A7 III, both exactly the same white balance. Something's up there. All right, let's do some white backdrop. You have to get really creative when you're in small spaces, so I've mounted these 3 background rolls in front of my shelf, which lets me do this. Otherwise, I would have to, yeah, small spaces, really exciting stuff. Okay, looking decent, looking decent. My headroom's all over the place. That looks nice. Let's go ahead and grab our controller and play with some more stuff here. What do you guys want to see, by the way? Is there anything in particular that would float your boat? Going up here a little bit. What's up, Fireworks? Welcome, my friend. Another one of our sponsors here at the channel. Okay. Let's start with scratch. All color turned off. So that's what we're working with. Let's go ahead and first, this is what I've been doing a lot, by the way, with RGB lights. You get your person set up, you get their key set up. Hopefully you have some more separation than I do here. And then the first thing we're going to do is set the exposure of our background. So I'm going to go to all colors turned off, dimmer, and set it to the level I'm looking at or looking for. I'd like to see a little more width. Again, I'm kind of limited here, but being able to, if I could bring the light back further, that would really help, because you're noticing on this shot here, we've got kind of a hot spot in the middle. I prefer to have that a little more clean, because you can always add a vignette in post, but I can't move anymore. So you could add some more diffusion in front of it. And the beauty is you could shoot in a huge space, just move the light way far away. It's got plenty of output. We're at 8% right now. I'm actually going to turn on a waveform on this monitor here. I'm going to set it to about 90 IRE, so not quite white. We'll probably end up backing that down. I'm just going to introduce a little bit of blue. And what you can do is use your camera or a monitor to dial in the color instead of just looking at it. So even though I'm adding blue on this camera, it's looking, at least to me, let's look at the stream here. Yeah, maybe a little purple. So what we can do is, well, what's the opposite of purple and magenta? Green. So we can just introduce a touch of green to compensate. So that, at least on this monitor, is looking a little more neutral, which is good. And that's the power of RGB. Not only stylistically can you make changes, but you can use it like you're color grading with light. If things aren't looking quite white on a wall that isn't white and you want it to be white, just tweak the color until you get there. And then of course you can carry on to do something a little more dramatic. So let's say we're going for kind of a Skyfall 007 look. Let's pump up the color a little more here. Back that off a little bit. So that's a nice color right there. The camera, the monitor, and the live stream all look different, but we'll make it work. Yeah, that's kind of nice. A little bit of just a touch of blue. So sky's the limit here, guys. You could go crazy and have a lot of fun with this. So RGB, super, super dope. Really, really useful. And again, don't think about, you know, RGB as just strictly colors, because it's a lot more than that. You know, if you think this is RGB, just different colors, there's so much more you can do with it. And obviously stuff like this totally works as well. Let's just see what kind of output we can look at here. The dimmability is turned all the way off. So I'm going to go to full red. That's 255, which is the top number for each color. Make sure my dimmer's turned off all the way. Yeah, so that's straight up 100% red. Very, very bright. It's probably 5-6 feet from the backdrop, just for those who might be wondering. Now let's add full blue to it. Yeah, now we're like completely blown out here. So plenty of output on this thing. Man, if you were doing or running like a beauty YouTube channel, I think this would be phenomenal. And of course, I mean, all day long with, well, that's a nice little pink. Let's just dim it all down here. Let's do this. Blue down. Whoops, not too much. Yeah, still too bright, man. So yeah, you've got lots and lots of headroom on this light. So that's the light, 750 bucks. Someone was mentioning the price, and I may have gotten it wrong earlier, I apologize. Controller, I wish it had a longer cord. I believe you can pick that up in addition if you want to run this thing far away. And this light also has DMX. So there's an interesting video coming up that you'll want to be watching here on the channel talking about a really affordable light and DMX. So that allows you to connect a ton of lights together or use various controllers and things like that. So yeah, right on. Any questions before we move on? Thanks again to FalconEyes for sending this out for the live review here. We'll be revisiting this light because it's pretty insane. I'd get the light if it wasn't $750. Yeah, so if you're just looking for a standard light, FalconEyes makes a ton of lights just like this without the RGB. I use them constantly. The one that you saw me in earlier, the office there, I have one permanently mounted there for live streams. I bought another one for my B-roll table. So if you see an overhead shot, pretty much all my thumbnails, that's done with another one of these lights, about the same size actually. And those are way more affordable. So like $100 to $200 to maybe $300. And then they have a huge 24 by 24 for I think $500. So again, if you don't need color, totally cool. There's tons of other lights from them that I've loved and used. The thing with RGB though, if you try to find another light that does this, 100 watts output, bicolor, decent CRI of whatever it said, 95. And we measured that at around 92. And RGB, that's going to be to find that for $750 is going to be tough. I mean, if you guys find it, let me know, please, because that's amazing. Right. So let's go ahead and calm all this down here. And anything else going on? This is great for a quick location RGB. Absolutely. Especially for the output. I mean, this is getting outrageous here. It's still blown out. I have to turn this way down. All right, blue is crazy. Green. Yeah, I'm still have a hot spot there. And all the numbers are under 50. So you could back this thing up and slap it on a huge wall, a gymnasium, and do some pretty wild stuff. Could you try full green? Absolutely. Oh, that's a great point, because you could use this as a green screen replacement if you only have a white wall. So that's full green. And the reason you're seeing green on me is twofold. One, the backdrop is bouncing the light at me. I also have this big piece of foam which is acting as a fill, so that's why it's bouncing all over the place. But if that's what your question was, if you're thinking about green screen, totally go for it. You know, you might want to add some more diffusion to even the light out, but if we calm down the exposure, if I move out of the way, you can see that's a really nice screen for green screen. And then if for whatever reason you needed to adjust that, you know, you could just pump in just a touch. Oops, there we go. Just a touch of blue, and you can modify that to your heart's content. What's up, Photo Joseph? How's it going, bro? Thanks, Josh, for the kind words. How do you do outdoor lighting? Do you take a gas generator with you? I use mostly small lights. So a light like this, you could totally battery power with a V-mount. I'm using all of them on these cameras that you guys can't see. But yeah, these days with LED at least, it's a lot easier to go mobile. I mean, even the Aperture 300D has the ability to be battery powered. So I haven't used a generator in like 8 years. So with LEDs, it's just made it a lot easier to move around. Are we still okay on the stream here? I'm getting a little spinny on my phone. It'll allow you to alter your chroma key if the talent. All right, cool. You guys talking about green screen. Let's see here. Got two Godox SL60s on eBay for $212 or $112-ish. They're amazing. Yeah, I have the 100 watt, and I got it on a fluke. Like I saw it and I was like, wait a minute, this price doesn't seem right. So I got it for like 170 bucks on eBay, and I was going to do a video about it, but then they stopped it, so that's too bad. Looking down here. Are you going to make more size of these? Are they going to make more sizes? Did they tell you? So they didn't tell me anything, but at NAB, I saw they had like massive ones. Unfortunately, I think this is the smallest one they have, at least right now, and I didn't see any smaller ones at the show. So I'll talk to them though. I could see them introducing all their different sizes. So the 12T, the smallest matte that they make, I think I could see them making an RGB version of that. I think that would be perfect because this guy is almost overkill for smaller spaces. But again, you have all that horsepower. Whenever you need it, you just go for it. Blue, pink, and violet, please. You betcha, Rob. Blue, pink, and violet coming up. We're gonna kill green. And with this dial on the side again, you can go fast. There's a little F next to the number, so that's fast. 0 green, full green, 1 turn. If you push the dial in, you get slow, which is incremental, 1 number at a time. So really lets you, get that color just so. So killing that. Blue. There's full blue. Again, it's blown out. Let's go over here. Yeah, pretty blue. Actually, I don't know why, but this camera looks so much better, at least for me. It's looking kind of green on the A7 III. So I'll have to look into that. But there's full blue. You said violet. Were you talking about just straight up red? You can do that again. Very nice. A little, I guess in real life it's looking more red than it is on camera necessarily. And again, that's what I'm all about, is just being able to punch in. Oh, that's set to fast. Pick a color. If it's not quite where you want it, use other colors to just slightly modify it. So there's kind of a nice, kind of a peachy look. Go back to green. That's kind of nice. Little what is this called again? Shoot. Actually, that's interesting. Yeah, so if you use the light close to your background, you could get kind of a dual color look, because in the center it's more overexposed, so it's going to appear a little more white and more saturated on the corners. What is it called? Sunburst? Guitars where they have that like color. I should know that, but vapor wave. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Is that a color or a look? I bought the 18T after one of your videos. Been very impressed with it. Yeah, I'm using it constantly over there in the B-roll area. Looks red, perfect for Dutch fans. Nice. Yeah, because it looks a little orange. I've now added a significant amount of blue and green to get this current look. And for those just tuning in, I'm not recommending that you do this stuff all the time, this crazy color stuff, but it is something you can do if you're into that. So I'm going to go back all the way down. Whoops. That's with nothing. Man, that is bright. Let's see if we can go pure white. So this is just back to daylight. We're at 5500 Kelvin, and that looks pretty white to me. Let me check my waveform. It's almost perfectly white all the way across. There's a little bit under 100 on the edges here. So again, we got the light. What do we got the light at? Probably, yeah, 5-6 feet. And you can totally rock white backgrounds. Let me bring it down to where everything's just, let's say, under 80. And it looks like it dims in 5% increments. Oh, there we go. Yep, you can still dial it in really nice and leveled. I should also mention there is 2 other buttons down here. Channel to set your DMX and a preset mode, which I need to figure out if I can set presets, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 9. So there are some presets. I'm hoping you can dial those in and program them. That would be super duper dope. So let's go back to just our previous setup. Okay, perfect. Just gonna bump a little blue and a little bit of green. A little more green. There we go. So this is the kind of thing I would personally do. Set your, like we talked about, you set it up, add just a touch of color. Another thing that's really popular right now is this kind of peach look. So we're gonna add 5 red, 6 red, 7 red. A little more red. Just really subtle colors. So everything can be done on this light. Unless you guys have any other questions, I think we'll move over to the other, the office again. What do you think about the RGB LED prototype from Aperture? Yeah, that looks really solid. Hopefully it comes out before too long. Sunburst, yes, fireworks, awesome. Would love to see this in a 9 to 12 inch size. That would be really, really nice. I do like the larger size for bigger setups. I just wish I had more space to really push it. But maybe we'll do that more in the future. All right, someone inform me on what the vaporwave thing is all about. I don't understand. Placement of the light. Yes, it's right behind me. So if you want me to move it, actually let's do this. Let's do a little bit of a kicker. Maybe you're doing a music video and you want to mix it up a little bit. We'll go to the wide cam. Turn this off here. Oh. All right. Where should I put this thing? Grab the controller. Let's see, my key's on this side, so I'll go opposite of the key. I'll rotate it kind of in a portrait mode, if you will. And we'll figure out where I'm going to hang this thing. The controller does have a little zip or a nylon tie on it, so you can attach it to a light stand, and it can just hang there. This short cord is killing me. So if I have one complaint, it is definitely that this thing is insanely short, which really limits the light, which is too bad. All right, something like that. And I'm going to set my color here. What kind of color should we do? We'll kill green. We'll also turn our dimmer all the way down, so it's straight up red. And I'm gonna also put a wee bit of blue in there. Not that much blue, holy cow. Like that. I'll start real subtle. Let's just do red 1, how about that? All right, that's red at the lowest possible setting. And the light's gonna be in the shot, I can't move it out of the way, but something like this. Not terrible, right? We'll go a little crazy here. Turn it up some more. Let's go to, there's 10. Yeah, you could do all kinds of fun stuff with this. That's nice, there we go. Interview setup, pretend the light's not in the frame, and pretend my focus point was moved. Also, what's going on with the hat there? There we go. That looks really nice to me. And because it's a bigger light, and this is kind of a pro larger light argument, we're able to have a softer setup like this. If you have a tiny light, this is going to look really spotty, like this. 1 second. I'm turning on a light up here in the corner that I sometimes use. The color temp is set a little warm, but it'll show the point. And it's kind of blending in. You can see it just in here a little bit. It looks kind of harsh, whereas this is really nice and soft because of that larger light source and the bit of diffusion. All right, people are saying this whole whatever vapor wave is aqua. Aqua and purple coming up. Kill red here. Oops, go to blue. Let's do 7 blue and 2 green, 3, 4 green. Okay, 7 blue, 4 green. Is that aqua for you? Okay, there you go. There's your aqua. Let me turn off that other light. That's annoying me. Boop. Yeah, that's nice. And finally, purple. Yeah, sorry about the doorbell, guys. All right. Leave blue at 7. Kill green. Let's do equal parts. Oops. Blue and red. So that's 6 and 6. Looks great. Very, very nice. I'm a big fan of that. A little intense for something I would necessarily use, but you know, take those numbers, dial them down a little bit, maybe 3 and 3 instead of 6 and 6, and you're good to go. Right, so I think we're gonna wrap this up. Let me know if you have any final things you'd like to see with the light, and then we'll head back into the other room. I'll get some water. Looks like my batteries are doing fine. Yeah, so that was fun. Yeah, we should do more of these. What do you think? Maybe we should do some lighting, starting with some budget stuff. We could go to the B-roll. I can show you how I light B-roll. We could do all kinds of stuff in this space. I'm finally getting to having a more legit setup for the live streams in this room. It's kind of tricky because I'm trying to integrate this room with the office and SDI cables going back and forth. It can get a little hairy. Bit off topic from Nate's Film Tutorials. What's up, Nate? Would you recommend a C100 in 2018 for documentary and YouTube videos? I'm thinking about upgrading my GH4, but the A7 III is not much more in cost. That's a tough call. I would say if autofocus, well, no, that doesn't make any sense. It really comes down to ND, and if you want a more cinema style camera, but you're stuck with 1080, and compared to low, when it comes to low light image stabilization, autofocus, I would imagine the Sony is on par, or not, if not better. So I'd probably, if it was me, save up a little more and get the A7 III. It's going to take better. If you can find one, holy balls is it difficult to get that camera. Photo Joseph, I could help with that live stream setup. Just saying, yeah, you guys should check out Photo Joseph's channel. He does exclusively live streams. He's got a pretty dank little setup over there. Let's see. Would it be nice if there was some wireless app control with the lights, Wi-Fi or Bluetooth? Yeah, absolutely. There's only DMX, I believe, which, you know, isn't those two things. So yeah, hopefully it'd be cool if they could add a module or something, but I doubt we'll see that from them. And that's one of the reasons they keep the cost down. Like, if you want a kind of an idea of what RGB lights are going for, check out Kane TV's tube lights, and you'll start to see where, holy cow, these are expensive to make. Very nice run through the light. Thank you, D. How about black? But yes, more lighting reviews. Awesome. How's it going, Post Color Blog? It's great meeting you at NAB. What gels do you recommend to achieve similar effects? That's a great question. Stacy Films. My favorites are the Roscoe's, the brand Roscoe. If you go to Amazon or B&H, you can buy little packs. So they have different packs. One's like a cinematic pack. I have the photo pack, and they're little 12 by 12s, which are perfect for lights like the 120D, smaller lights where you can just tape it on. One thing I do all the time is have like really small standard LED panels and just a little bit of tape and you get the color. The thing I don't like about gels is I make a mess trying to find the right one, and often, you know, you're stuck with whatever saturation the gel has, whereas an RGB light, you can dial it in, which is great. But yeah, gels are fantastic. I still use them all the time. What's up, Alex? How's it going? Another sponsor of the channel. How's it going, bro? Love your lighting tutorials. Thanks, man. Looks like I missed a couple. Let's go back to the other room because I want to show you something that visually will look pretty dope and it involves donations. So hang on one second. We're gonna go ahead and switch back to the other room. I'm gonna go ahead and tap on that and I'll be in there in 1 second. Boop. My switcher's out here. And we're back. Okay. Nice to have a chair with a back on it. So we got a couple donations I want to address, and I have a new graphic that I'm super excited about. It needs some more work, but it's close, and then I'm going to customize these for different price ranges. So if you like drop stupid levels of cash, you're going to get a pretty fun experience. Let's go back to the live stream here, and where's our first donation? I'm going to go up to make sure I didn't miss any. Okay, so we got two. The first one is from Daniel Moore Photography, and he donated. What? Get all that out of there. Fun, right? Little rusty, little rough around the edges, but we'll work on it. I want to make some that are just over the top. So anyway, Daniel, thank you very much for the £5. Hey, Caleb. Recommendations for a camera for my wife to start videography at weddings. I shoot Fuji, but looking at the GH5 for the price, or maybe the Sony A7 III. Yeah, it depends on what your budget is. Drop your budget and maybe I'll dial in that answer for you. But if you're looking at those two, for weddings, man, probably the A7 III. If she's going to start videography, now's a good time to get a camera with good autofocus, since that seems to be the way of the future. I was just talking to a friend of mine today about, sorry, got distracted by stinking iStacy Films and her Yay Danny. Oh, I thought he said Yay Yanny. I'm like, let's not go into the Yanny thing. Yeah, I was talking to someone today about how all the kids these days are like, but the autofocus is terrible. Whereas, you know, as you know, a lot of us have been doing manual focus for the longest time. Anyway, A7 III if possible, just because the autofocus for her is just going to be dynamite for weddings. Would love to work with you sometime, Caleb. Sweet. That could be a possibility. Just saying. Someday, more events offline. How about that? Kit Kohler, I literally unboxing a bunch of stuff I bought from your reviews while watching the live stream. Awesome. Very nice. Wasn't looking for a plug, but I'll take it. Photo Joseph. Awesome. Let's see. Thanks for the suggestion, Nate. And another donation from 2 Minute Tech. $4.99. I probably ought to position should position that in a different place. Just sending the love, man. You've had a huge impact on starting my channel. Thank you. Awesome, dude. Maybe I should start doing channel shoutouts or go into people's channels. How about that? Are you cool with that, man? Why not? Go over here. 2 Minute Tech. There he is. Very nice. Yeah, smart. Smart. I need to watch your channel, man. I need some smart stuff. Some smarter stuff, I should put it that way. When will your vintage lens videos come out? So I was going to do like a whole series. I think what I'm going to do is just one video kind of going over, hey, you should think about these other lenses. And then over time, I'll go into them in more depth. I'm finding more and more that's what I should be doing, I think. I think I hold on to these ideas too long, and I'm like, oh, I've got to make the full video or a series of videos, and it has to be just right. And I should just be like, bam, vintage lenses, bam, anamorphic, and then over time I can always, you know, deal with that stuff more in the future. Looking for lights for wedding. Any advice from Thomas Sawyer? That is a rough one. I feel your pain because it's not as well. You tell me, but my guess is you need something that will work well in like a bridal prep situation, as well as in a giant black room where people are dancing, and that's really tough. If you're thinking more about lighting in like receptions, something like an Aperture 120D or 300D even, that you could just slap on the ceiling, just hit up, you know, oh, I apologize. Excuse me. My bad. Something like that is going to work really well. Otherwise, if you're just looking for something for more intimate settings where you want to craft your lighting a little more, something like this, the same company of the other light, FalconEyes 12T or 18T D. Those would do a great job. They're super portable. Love them. Guys are talking about lighting. Awesome. Alex mentioned YC Imaging. Yep. YC Imaging is the man. Such a smooth live stream setup. Thanks, man. I don't know if you're serious or not, since I've been messing up things here and there. What's up, Caleb? This is Tech Today. How's it going, man? Very active follower, Mr. Tech Today. Rainbow Core Channel. Okay, they're talking about cameras. Autofocus for YouTubers, not filmmakers. I mean, I'm not saying, I'm not ripping out autofocus saying you're a fool if you use it or you aren't pro. But it's funny how, you know, filmmakers were like, I never want autofocus to be working well. I would never use it. And these days people like lose their stuff when a camera doesn't have good autofocus. Strobe light to replicate it on a budget. Interesting question. Are you talking about RGB? Are there RGB strobes? I doubt there are. But I know there's tons of little filter pack things that are custom fitting on your flash, so that would work just fine. You just have to fiddle around with it. The longest light review I've ever watched. It was worth it. Amazing job. Keep it entertaining. Thanks. Vintage Lens for video. What's going on, brother? I'm so ticked that I didn't get my Carl Zeiss Jenna video done before you. Great work on that. We need more of that. So I think you have a Patreon, right? So yeah, hopefully more of that content comes our way because it's solid stuff, dude. All right. My name is actually Isaac. Last name is Stacy, but that's understandable. Oh, okay, yeah. It's smart if you start working with manual focus. Autofocus can work against you sometimes. From VFX Todd, absolutely. But if she's just getting started and she's maybe only done photos, learning how to do autofocus while you're learning the rest of the video could be really daunting. But yeah, I think everyone should learn how to rock autofocus. Hey, Caleb. What's your recommendation for a preamp for the A6500 to monitor audio? So these days, there's only a handful of audio things I feel like I'm recommending, and I need to do a video on this. But my favorite right now is the Beachtech DXA Micro Pro, I believe is what it's called. I think it's like $150 gold. Super nice. So I would go with that if you're looking for a preamp. Hey, Caleb, just got my Ronin S. Nice, Kevin. Might start my YouTube channel. Got any quick tips? Woo! Technical or like just channel YouTube related? Let me know, because that's a lot of stuff. The landscape's a little different these days. I guess I can take this off now. I would say quality and quantity. Do that. I know it seems like you can only have one or the other, but if it means one video every 2 weeks instead of crappy or not subpar once a week,
figure out a way to balance that out. But you gotta be consistent and stick with it. It's like the stock market, really. You know, my channel's gone up and down. I've had super great 6-month runs, and then like right now it's kind of in a slump. But you just gotta keep on keeping on. And it's always sad when people kind of pull the plug early, because you never know what could have been. Great question. Right. Let's see, absolutely. Check out FHD on YouTube. Little self plug. Cool. Wow, you got some nice stuff too. Little RGB action maybe, or gels. Cool. Just tuned in. Did you review? Yes, already reviewed the light flume. Sorry, you can scroll back a little bit after the video's over if you want to check it out. Great stream as usual. Thank you for all the awesome content. Thank you, Rob. It's very kind. New to the channel. Awesome. Welcome aboard. I like your content so far, Caleb. Keep doing what you're doing. Do you currently make films, and where are you based? I'm an indie filmmaker and a YouTuber as well. Awesome. So yeah, I'm full-time here on the channel now. I used to be a freelance shooter editor. So I did a lot of corporate stuff, corporate documentary. People would hire me to shoot and edit. And then started this channel and went full-time. I need to figure out when, but I want to say like 3 years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago. Yeah, and based in Chicagoland. But let me tell you right now, it's really tough to do both well. So if you want to be like a cinematographer and a YouTuber, eventually, if you want one or the other to grow, you have to kill one, I have found. So I couldn't keep doing both, or else both suffer, which is really tough. And I'm sure it's possible. But thanks, man. Glad you're aboard with us. I've been watching your channel since Caleb had hair and was skinny, but never made it to the live stream. What's up, K-Dart? Welcome. Yes, I had a much slimmer bod. The guns weren't as good though, and now the hair it's so gone, as you know. When are the anamorphic lens episodes coming out? I love the 2x stretch look on Micro Four Thirds. Yeah, so I just need to make that video. I was like, do I do a series? Do I do a full guide? And I think I'm just going to do a basic video, and then in the future maybe do a full guide. Small rig with the A7 III. Yes, I have been using it. Yeah, it doesn't seem to bother me. There's one screw. There's parts of the cage that like are right up against the camera and keep it steady. Looks like we have a donation. I'm going to go down here a little bit. Because I'm a little bit behind, from Amanda Loves to Audit. Thank you, Amanda. $7.99. The smoke in my face. I keep leaning into it. Morning from Oz. My fellow teachers asked why my videos on YouTube are so good. Your channel has been such a help. So big thanks. Thank you very much, Amanda. I've seen you on Twitter. We've talked a little bit, so thank you for the support. It's very kind words. And always glad to hear that some people are getting something out of the channel. That's great. Shane Robertson, I finally made it. Hell yeah. And you're the first one to use one of the custom emojis, so nice. Yeah, I guess this would be a good time to quickly plug the sponsorships. You can hit that sponsor button if you want. $4.99 a month. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do perks. What I think I'll do is a custom or a really exclusive live stream where people can, you know, we can do more one-on-one, more intimate. Not everyone's seeing it, so we can maybe do some like Skype or Google Hangouts together, and do a lot more one-on-one. I think that'd be cool. So yes, thank you, Shane, excuse me, for joining the club. It's very nice of you, very kind of you. Let's see. Thanks for the kind words, Diego. What's up, Vegard? While I have you, from Daniel Moore, do you have a recommendation for vintage telelens? Ideally 2.8 or less. Just sold my 24-70 equivalent. I'm shooting on the Fuji system. I just happen to have what I think might be a good option. One moment. One second. Okay. So I got two cheap, affordable options that are pretty decent. What kind of camera did you say you were on? Fuji system. All right. So the first one is this guy, which is Soligar. Yeah, it's a Soligar 70 to 210 3.5 constant aperture. Let me change my focus here so you can see a little better. Boop. What's cool about this is it's constant aperture. It has it's an older lens, but it has the, what is this called, 2-touch zoom, which is super rare for older lenses. It's what you want. The front does rotate, so keep that into consideration. But you can pick this up for, I want to say, 10 to 20 bucks on eBay. And it's great. I tested it. It's really sharp, actually, which is rare. And it has a macro mode. So you can see, let's see. Yeah, there's that range right there where you can hop in a macro, and now this thing lets you get insane macro. So that's one. Several different mount options. This one I believe is FD, Canon FD. Let me kill my phone here. And then this is the other one, and this is a really weird lens. This is the, what is it called? Minolta. Yeah, this is often called the beer can lens because it resembles like an Australian style, like beer can. Great lens, really, really nice actually. The image quality is phenomenal. I'm trying to remember the aperture here. It's f4, so it's a little slower. 70 to 210 as well. I would say this one is a little better. What's weird though is look at this focus ring. Look how little that is. Isn't that strange? And the reason was when Minolta came out with these lenses, it was very early in the autofocus game. So they were like, well, we're never going to use this manual focus because autofocus is the future. So they shrunk the focus ring down. I thought that was pretty interesting when I was doing some research on that lens. So yeah, both decent, really budget. I don't know what budget you were looking at, but I like those. Oh man, we got some action down here. First and foremost, Victor with a donation. Turn that down a little bit. Woo! My goodness, Victor, $2. Thank you very much, man. Really appreciate it. Nikon 100 f2.8 series. Yes, that's a great lens with an adapter. Great, awesome stuff there, Emil. Shane, you're welcome, and thank you for the tutorials, classes, and expertise. Thank you, man. You're a beast. And I can't wait for people to get a little further along in the sponsorships to get those sexy badges. I mean, there's the 2-year one. But yeah, fun stuff. New sponsor, Ted. What is going on, Ted? Welcome to the, I want to say like video shooter club or something. But I need to be careful with the shooter thing because that can get kind of sensitive these days. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for the sponsorship. Alex, do you mean actual 100 or are you talking about full frame equivalent? Oh, Todd, hitting up the face emojis as well as fireworks. Nice. I need to make some more of those. Welcome to the club, Todd. Nice. Daniel Schiffer, Canadian, $5 donation. Thanks, man. Keep up the killer work, dude. Daniel says, hey, Caleb, can we get a patented what's up, guys? Caleb here with DSLR Video Shooter. It would make my day to hear it live. What's up, guys? Caleb here with DSLR Video Shooter, and today we're doing a live stream. I don't know if that's going to work for you. Thanks, dude. Keep up the killer content, dude. I'm loving it. Also, I'll explain the complete YouTube dominance that are you in Canada? I can't recall if you're West Coast or if you're up in Canada. I want to say Canada, but what the balls. Everybody Canadian is taking over. It's crazy. What's up? Exactly. Todd, I'm all in sponsoring now. Sweet. Welcome. Justin Brown, Primal Video. How's it going, dude? Finally made it on live. Keep up the awesome work, man. Thanks, dude. And thanks for I still haven't emailed YouTube, but I'm going to get my sexy little gray checkbox just like you. That's all I want to be when I grow up is a verified channel. 200 millimeter full frame equivalent. Yeah, so you could get away with like 150 mil. Saw an interview with Peter McKinnon. He mentioned you. Hey, he wants to Caleb. That would be cool. Collab? Oh, right on. Yeah. What's going on, Rob? Yeah. Someone tweeted that to me, and so I watched it and was surprised to hear my voice, my name. That was a great interview, by the way. I got a lot out of that. That was really, really good stuff. Just as a YouTuber, that was very encouraging stuff. Are you going to review the new DJI Ronin S? Maybe. We'll see. It's an awesome gimbal. It looks dope. I'm sure we'll see it on the channel at some point. But, yeah, we'll have to see. Justin Brown is here. Brown's here. Justin Brown. Oh, right. Right on. Yep. I think of Justin as Primal Video. So I was like, what? Best sounding mic pre you have used. Probably the one I own now, and that's the Mix Pre 3 from Sound Devices. I haven't worked a lot with like really nice ones. Usually they were rented or we had a sound guy who had it in his kit. So this is the first like big boy preamp for me, and I love it. Considering the Sigma 10528 lens for tight product shots for video. Goodbye? ? From 2 Minute Tech. That's a good question. I haven't used it. Check the minimum focus distance, because sometimes, not all the time, but often with longer lenses like that, you're like, sweet, awesome lens, and then you're like, oh, I can only focus 3 feet or further away or something like that. But I couldn't tell you personally because I haven't used it. Alex Rokinon sells one for like $500. Yep. Who's Ted? Did I say Ted? I'm sorry, Todd. Ronin S versus Zhiyun Crane 2. Ooh, that's a good question. I couldn't tell you because I haven't used either, actually. Corbin's been doing my gimbal reviews because he's a wizard. When are you going to show off your GH5 red light setup? Really interested in those kind of rigs. Oh, that's right. I did talk about that. Yeah. We will have a rig for that camera coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. Yeah. Good stuff. New sponsor, Daniel Moore Photography. Thank you very much, Daniel. Welcome to the club. If you're okay with it, I'll throw your channel on Chrome. Just let me know if that's... Oh my gosh. I apologize. If you're okay with that, and I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that for whoever. Just a little sweeten the pot. See who's welcome here. DVS Club instead of Shooter. That's probably a good idea, Kevin. Welcome to the exclusive club. From Todd. Yep, Toronto. Got it. Yeah, Canadians killing it everywhere, or winning everywhere, I should say. Yeah, really enjoying your channel, dude. And a lot of guys in the circles over here are like, oh, that Daniel Schiffer guy. Money. Yeah, Twitter. I'm a big Twitter fan. I need to get my Instagram life figured out, though, at the same time. Thanks, Todd. Good to be here. Favorite piece of tech right now? That's a good question. I would probably say, it sounds like such a boring answer, but the A7 III. There's a lot of things I don't like about that camera, but for the most part, the fact that you get a full frame, you just stick it in a corner and you're done, is pretty sweet. And the autofocus, the 55-1.8 on that camera, whew. Yeah, I can't think if there's something else. It's a good question though. Mm-hmm. Can you do subtitles in Indonesian? Unfortunately, no. Unless I could find someone that I could hire to do that. My goodness, I just realized we're way over time, but that's okay. Daniel Moore Photography, I'm just here for the emojis. Nice. Awesome. I'll get more up there for you guys. Multi-copter warehouse. Thank you so much for the donation. Really appreciate it, man. Boop. Yeah. Do you think I should keep it over my face like that, or should I move it off to one side? And that glitch is getting really old. Okay. Taking notes for myself for later. Crane Plus is fairly good for personal experience. Lumix cameras, built-in stop motion features. Is the FE28 good enough for vlogging for a top down shots, or should I get a converter to 21? That's a good question. 28 depends on how long your arms are, I guess. I think the 28 is good enough. It'd be nice if it was wider, but it works. It's also a great lens. For overhead shots, you'll have to be careful with distortion. So maybe rent it, or see if you can try one somewhere in a camera store if possible. I like it a lot. I think it's great for what Sony's charging for it. But the distortion and maybe not as wide as you would like. But for the cost, I mean, I don't think you can really go wrong. Corbin is awesome. You should bring him on the live stream again. I definitely should, especially since that video got some decent views. So, yeah, Corbin, he's one of my besties. Yes, the face. The face. Any more builds? Oh, yeah. If you want custom emojis, let me know what you want, and we'll make that happen. I just kind of BS my way into that. I figured the face would be a fun one. Bought a 3D printer because of your video live stream a month or so ago. I was able to prototype some stuff. Awesome. Yeah, I love 3D printing, and that little sucker, that little monoprice printer is dynamite. Once I got it dialed in, it's pretty cool. Yeah, for sure. Love it. Recording time on the A7 III. Yes, it is 30 minutes. And Alex, even though he's a sponsor, is dropping another donation. Thanks, man. You're a beast. A beast. Do you still have your collection of Nikon glass? I still have my zooms. And I'm rebuilding my primes. It might take a while. I used to have a couple primes and I sold them forever ago. So I'd like to bring those back. The zooms I still have, and I'm trying to decide if I should sell them or if I would lose money on them. But I have 3 of the AFD lenses, and I love those zooms, but I just don't use them much anymore. They were like my bread and butter when I did corporate stuff because I could dual camera, great color, fast lenses. So yeah, still like Nikon glass for manual stuff. Love it. Sounds like a good lens. Caleb, any opinion on drones that came out this week? Drones. I missed that. I apologize. I'm not sure. Are they non-DJI? I guess when I think of drones, DJI is about the only thing I think of. Thoughts on the M50 review coming? Great if you're getting started and a YouTuber vlogger. Feel free to share my channel. You got it. Boop. Just drop that in right there. Go over here. Ta-da. Daniel Moore Photography. Check it out. Shot an email but didn't hear back. Would love to hook up with you with a product review. Multi-copter warehouse. Love your channel. Cool, dude. I'll check out. I'm moving servers right now, so things are a little intense with the email situation. But hopefully I'll catch up before too long. I got hacked pretty intensely. The Russians had a heyday, so had to completely move the website, the emails, and all that exciting stuff. Favorite or feelings on GoPros? I don't use them that much, but I have nothing against them. I mean, I would prefer a larger camera, but I mean, if you gotta have something small, you gotta have something small. You have a good crowd, dude. Salute. Good crowd here. Yeah, you guys are dynamite. We got a nice little we got to come up with a name, guys. I want to say club, but that sounds kind of something. We'll come up with a name, and we'll say that instead of sponsorship. But we got a nice little roster going on over here, which I really, really dig. Go back here. Do you think $10 capture card would work for live streams? I don't think so. I have a hard time believing a $10 card would get the job done. Maybe for like SD, like standard definition video. But I feel like the best cheap option is that Elgato. It's around $100, I think. Thoughts on the Ursa Mini Pro uncompressed, compressed, 4.6 raw, Pros 444 ND, etc. I haven't used it. I probably should, but yeah. I know people are really mixed feelings about that camera. 24 frames per second or 25 for cinematics. I would say go full 24 because that's what film was shot at. But if you want to get on TV in the UK or something like that, maybe shoot 25. Is the Lumix GM1 still worth it? Found one for $150. Smallest interchangeable lens in the world? Let's research this. GM1. Is this a newer camera? Oh, this little sucker. Is it the smallest one? Or is, one moment, this the smallest one? Check this out. Whoop. I have yet to do a video on this. This is the Pentax S something one. I've already forgot the name. Pentax Q7 S1, right? Yeah, Q7 S1. Look at that sensor. Is that insane? Here, I'll put it next to a Sony APS-C. Isn't that insane? You can actually use like Super 8 or like 8mm ancient lenses, which I actually have right here. This tiny little fella on it because the sensor size is so small. Does it shoot great video? Not really, but fun little camera. We'll be talking about that here in the future. But yeah, I don't know. I would check, to go back to your actual question, I would check the video specs. Usually what I look for is 24 frames per second in HD. If it has that, you know, that's a good way to go. If you're okay with 30 frames per second, that's fine too. But I like that 24. Crew, squad, yes, all that stuff's good. I like it. Crew, squad. We'll start putting together a list. Let's see. Oh, I missed a couple things. I'm going to go down to the bottom here. I missed some stuff. Any plans to review the Tamron 28 to 75? Yes, I pre-ordered one. So I don't know when it's shipping. I feel like it's either shipping now or delayed a little bit. And yes, Todd, I also need to do that that firmware update for my GH5, GH5S. What do you think about the Laowa 15F2? It's a wide, it's fast, and it costs almost the same as a 16. Yeah, so they're making some wild lenses. I am going to slowly work my way through their lenses. I'm talking with them now, and unfortunately, they don't want to do more than one at a time. So we're going to be doing, what's the next one? We're going to do a 12. Let me look it up here. Let's just go to their site real quick. They have so many wide angles. I'm trying to keep them all straight with different mounts. And for those who haven't heard, you got to check these guys out. Optics. Uh-oh. Oh, good. For some reason, Final Cut just fired up in the background, and I have no idea why. VenusOptics.net. Lenses. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we are... No. Wait a minute. We're not doing the 15F2. We're doing the 12 2.8. So this lens is a full frame lens, 12mm, f2.8 with what they call 0D, which stands for zero distortion. So just think about that for a second. 12 millimeters, f2.8, almost no distortion on a full frame camera. That's crazy, crazy talk. So can't wait to play with that. I think that on an A7 III, yummy. We have a new sponsor. Oh, I need to create some crazy graphic for that. Welcome, MyLessTube. Am I saying that right? MyLessTube 5. Welcome, new sponsor. That's super dope. Caleb's crew. Yeah, we need to come up with a name. It'll happen. It's gotta be super dope and dank, but without saying dank or dope. Caleb's Corner. Oh, we should just come up with a whole list of super cringy options. All right, guys. Well, it's 5:21, which means I'm well over the hour long live stream. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It was a pleasure to have you all. For all the new sponsors, you guys are beasts. Looking forward to hanging with you guys. If you're a new sponsor or will be a sponsor, definitely check out the community tab. I'm going to be posting exclusive stuff there for you. We're going to talk about live streams and which dates are going to work best. Hopefully, I'm thinking maybe I'll do one tomorrow or Friday. So keep an eye on the community tab, and we'll get stuff set up over there. Otherwise, you guys are beasts. Thank you so much to those who donated and just everyone in general. Loved having you guys. Stay tuned for some fresh videos, probably starting Tuesday next week. And that's going to do it, guys. Have a great evening, and we'll see you in the next video.